Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Star. Nice to meet you. Thank you for being here. If you're not new here, thank you for coming back and actually liking my stuff enough to come back. I really appreciate that. This video is gonna be a little bit different from how I normally do my videos. So I'm sorry if you were expecting like a first time reaction. Because when I originally filmed The Summer I Turned Pretty, Season 2, Episode 5, for some reason I ended up filming it in like 2x speed. So the video was just no good. There was no sound. It was in slow motion. It was just a hot mess. But originally I was just going to just scrap it and be like, okay, I'm not gonna do episode 5 and I'm just gonna switch to go straight into 6 and so forth. But I don't know, for some reason I felt like this episode was really important to talk about, especially from someone who is team Conrad. This episode put a lot of things into perspective for me, so I kind of didn't want to brush over it, especially seeing people in my comments talk about how they're team Jeremiah, and me being someone who just couldn't understand how people were team Jeremiah. I mean, throughout the beginning of season 2, I started to feel and understand Jeremiah more. I think we got more of his perspective on things, and we started to see a little more emotion in Jeremiah, which is really important because that was like one of the reasons I did not like him at all in season 1. So yeah, we're gonna do a little recap / discussion of season 2, episode 5 of The Summer I Turned Pretty. I hope you like this type of content. If you do like it, let me know. Maybe I'll do some more. Or maybe I'll just stick to like the first time reaction videos. We'll see how it goes. Season 2, episode 5, The Love Fool. We start off with how we ended the last episode, with everybody coming back to the house and realizing that the house is completely empty. So, what's her name? Aunt Jill, Jillian, whatever her name is, Aunt Jay, that's what we're gonna call her for right now. We realized that while everybody was out and on the boardwalk, she ended up taking all the furniture and moving it to some storage house. And okay, she was decent enough to move it to a storage house, but like at least give them some warning, you know what I'm saying? So like it's still F Aunt J. And then we also got a little twist in this episode. Belly isn't narrating this episode. We have Jeremiah Fisher narrating this episode. I think that's the first time that's happened in the show. I think it's always been Belly. And now we have Jeremiah's POV. So I think that's really cool. Aunt Julia ends up coming in the house and they go and confront her, and Conrad is like, what is going on? Like, what happened? What did you do?
I don't give a shit what the two of you decided on. You had no right to touch anything in this house. Those were her things.
Breathe, man.
And she's like, oh, relax. Like, it's in storage. It's all fine. And he's like, you could have at least gave us some warning. Like, you're a terrible person for that. And then she's just like, oh, well, your mom should have told you that the house, once she passed away, the house was gonna be up for sale. And Conrad is like, I'm so sorry that our mom was dying, that she was too busy dying to tell us that she didn't have anything in order for the house.
And I'm not the one you should be angry with. Your mother could have warned you that this was gonna happen.
I'm so sorry that she was too busy dying to make your life a little easier.
Like, what a stupid, like, thing to say. And honestly, props to Conrad for stepping up to her because everybody was kind of like, whoa, Conrad, like, relax. But no, seriously, that's a messed up thing to do. Like, not only did the other kids not side with her, but even her own daughter, like, was like, shame on you. Like, that was a messed up thing to do, Mom.
My whole life, I've looked up to Conrad. He's always been smarter, faster, just better. Someone to look up to. But a lot's happened this year. I don't feel that way anymore.
The group had nowhere to sleep. There was no furniture in the house. And Belly was like, okay, well, there's some sleeping bags in the garage. Like, maybe we could figure something out. But basically, and Aunt Julia, she kicked him out of the house and was like, yeah, go back home. Like, you can't stay here. So they end up going to the country club. And lo and behold, guess who's still there? Cameron is still there. But honestly, it's a good thing that he was there because if he wasn't there, they wouldn't have been able to get into the country club because when Jeremiah tried his old scan ID, it didn't work. But luckily, Cam's mom works at the country club, so she had a key code to get in at any time. So once they got into the country club, they decided to split up. Cameron and Sky decided they would go into the kitchen to look for some food. And originally, Taylor was gonna go with them, but you know, Steven coerced her.
Okay, fine. No, I mean, as long as you're cool with, like, sleeping on, like, dusty polyester sheets.
I hate you so much. Why do you need help with this? What do you...
And initially, Taylor was like, no. Like, I don't want to. I want to look for food. And she was like, no, you're coming with me. Jeremiah walks up to Belly and Conrad and it's like, oh, I think I know a place where we can sleep. And Belly is like, yeah, I'll catch up with you later. And then Conrad is like, I'm actually going to go with Sky and Cameron to the kitchen. So those two ended up staying behind to talk while Jeremiah walked off. Jeremiah, you know, he's lurking in the back listening to the two because, you know, he loves to do that.
We're gonna figure something out.
Sometimes I hate myself for how long it took me to notice it. That invisible force between the two of them. But it wasn't just up to Conrad. It was Belly's choice too. So I forced myself to let it go. There were more important things to worry about then anyway.
Then we end up getting a flashback of Jeremiah and Conrad. Conrad comes home from college, I guess, for the weekend. And we see a small glimpse of like some of the responsibilities that Jeremiah had while he was home with the mom. He was kind of going through her medical bills, trying to get everything in order. And, you know, Conrad ended up going to college. And I think in part I can't really be mad at him for going to college because I feel like that's something maybe Susanna wanted him to do. She didn't want him to not go to college because of her. So I feel like he may have been forced to do that, even though he probably wanted to stay home. Still, it says a lot that Jeremiah, what was he, like 17 at the time? It's a lot of responsibility. Also, the two have a discussion about how Conrad and Belly want to get together, but the idea of hurting Jeremiah just didn't sit right with them.
You and I never really talked about what happened with Belly. Jared, what happened last summer was fucked up.
Jeremiah wasn't talking to Belly, and that was also really hurting Belly, so that was something Conrad had told Jeremiah. Conrad also told Jeremiah that he didn't even know him and Belly had kissed until after, which is very true. You know, he didn't know that Belly and Jeremiah had kissed, so I don't think he was intentionally trying to hurt his brother.
I was just hoping that you could... What? Give you my blessing?
Conrad asked for Jeremiah's blessing to be with Belly. You know, he tells him that he's really in love with her and that he cannot live without her.
But I think about her all the time. And it hurts. Like, my chest physically hurts to not be able to tell her that I'm in love with her.
So, Jeremiah, you know, being a good brother, he's like, he's not gonna stop his brother from being with a girl he loves.
When your brother tells you something like that, there's only one right answer.
I'm not gonna be the one to keep you guys apart. So go for it.
And honestly, kudos to him, because I don't know if I'd be able to do that. So Jeremiah also, you know, while he's lurking in the corner watching the two, kind of comes to this realization that, you know, it's never gonna be him. It's always gonna be Conrad. But I don't know if that's true, because us as viewers, we see Belly start to think about Jeremiah more and more. We kind of see a lot of tension building as well between the two.
So I just keep telling myself over and over, it'll never be me. It's always going to be Conrad.
Hey, Jared, wait up.
Jeremiah also, you know, had made it a mental note to stay mad at Belly, but he felt himself cracking, and honestly, I understand. She's just so charming and so cute. Like, who could stay mad at her? I can never stay mad at her.
Oh, no, they have plenty of hands. Besides, I'd rather roam with you. I mean, we never know what we'll find behind these doors.
It's a country club, not Narnia.
Adventure's worthwhile in itself.
Okay, also, what else is new? Steven is still pushing up on Taylor. Like, he cannot get enough of Taylor, but you know, she dodges him. It's a little awkward. It's okay. Then we go back to Jelly, and those two are in the projector room, and the tension is just building between them. They're up doing little shadow puppets on the projector. Also, whoever did the soundtrack for this episode deserves a kiss, because Frank Ocean, not two Frank Ocean songs. Amazing. You deserve a kiss. Speaking of kiss, will Jelly kiss right now?
Not on my watch. Not on my watch.
Cam also discusses how some douchebag that they know ended up getting a hold of his trust after going to court. And winning with some lawyer, and we kind of see Conrad getting at the idea of suing his father so he can get a hold of his trust. Back to Steven plotting. He ends up playing another banger Frank Ocean song, and him and Taylor are slow dancing after he begs her, pleads her to dance. They end up dancing.
Please? He really, really wants to dance with you.
Also, what is up with guys wanting girls after they're not interested in them anymore in the show, or after they have a boyfriend? Anyways, they're cute though. Okay, when I first watched this scene, I was very confused at first with the timeline, but this is after Conrad talked to Jeremiah and told him that he wanted to be with Belly. The Fishers with, I don't know Belly's last name, but that family is together, and they're all together for Thanksgiving. Conrad and Belly show up as a couple, and it is so awkward. I think there's a lot of people in the room that don't see the awkwardness, but it is very awkward because Jeremiah is just sitting across from Belly and Conrad, and it's just like side-eyeing. And you can tell also Belly's kind of catching on, because at one point Conrad is like holding Belly's hand on the table, and she kind of just like pulls her hand away because she could tell that it's making Jeremiah really uncomfortable. Yeah, if I was Jeremiah too, I don't even know if would I have went to Thanksgiving, because it's just so weird. It's so awkward. Also, I can't help but think about if Belly gets with Jeremiah now, and it's like another Thanksgiving. Isn't it really awkward if Belly goes there with Jeremiah knowing that she was also there with Conrad? Like, it's just too weird and like too awkward. I don't know. At the end of Thanksgiving, Billy goes upstairs and Jeremiah goes and talks to Conrad, and he's like, yeah, keep Belly the fuck away from me.
Next time Belly's coming over, can you give me a heads up or something? But if you guys are gonna be here together, then I don't wanna be around. No, it's better for everyone if we just keep some distance, okay? You do your thing and I'll do mine.
Like, next time she's over, keep her away from me, thanks. And Conrad was like, what, why? And he's like, yeah, I think it's best if you guys stay away from me when you're together. Like, I'm not feeling it. And honestly, I respect it. We respect boundaries, you know? So, back to the present. The two brothers, they go and they look for Taylor and Steven. And as they walk in, Taylor and Steven are about to kiss. Like, the two brothers interrupt their kiss and they don't kiss. And honestly, I'm okay with that because Taylor also is still with her boyfriend. So let's just chill out a bit, you know? Let's chill out. Then they decide to sleep outside. Why they decided to sleep outside, I don't know. I know Cameron was like, you know, they're making a mess and he doesn't want his mom to get in trouble, but couldn't they have just been neater as opposed to sleeping on the golf course? Like, I don't know. I would never sleep outside. No, sorry. While they're walking on the golf course, the girls, they discuss their first loves. So Taylor is talking about Steven and how last summer he hurt her, and that although she can tell that her and Steven have something there, that he hurt her last summer and she, you know, she's still upset by it. I don't know why she would be super upset because he did have a girlfriend, but who knows, maybe something else happened between them and that's why she's upset. I don't know. And then Belly says she doesn't know if she'd ever love someone the way she loved Conrad.
I think I loved Conrad longer and truer than anyone in my whole life. And I'll probably never love anyone like that again.
And knowing that, why would you want her to be with Jeremiah? Why would she want to be with Jeremiah? Because the love you have or had for his brother is way stronger than you have for him or will ever have for him. So it's just a very messy situation. And they also acknowledge that Belly and Jeremiah actually have a spark between them. And it's kind of like a growing spark. Like she wants to see where it will go. Also, is there a connection between Sky and Cameron? Because I could see that. I see something happening there too. And then they start to play Truth or Dare. And Truth and Dare starts off really funny. Belly dares Steven to eat the apple bone and he ends up like spitting it out all over them. But then it gets super depressing when Cam is like,
where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
but then, you know, things switch to like a whole nother thing when Sky is like, oh, I have a truth or dare.
Belly, I dare you to kiss Jeremiah.
I dare Belly to kiss Jeremiah. And it is so awkward. It is so awkward. Like, everybody's just silent. We get a flashback to the beginning of last summer when Belly and Steven arrive. And this time we get Jeremiah's point of view of that whole scene.
I can remember the exact moment when everything changed. From the first moment I saw her last summer, I was done for.
And he talks about how before then she was just Belly, she was just his best friend, but something changed and he wanted nothing more than to kiss her in that moment.
I wanted to grab her and hold her and kiss the shit out of her. And the feeling never went away.
And then he ends up talking to Steven and he sees Belly and Conrad talking.
I tried to convince myself for a long time that they weren't inevitable, that I had a chance. But it's pretty clear to me now that I never actually did.
And in that moment, he knows that it's Conrad that Belly wants. He knows that it's not him. And seeing that and knowing that, knowing that someone likes my sibling and has always liked my sibling or picked them over me, I don't think I could ever be with them. It's just, it would always be right here. I would always be thinking about it when they're around. Also, I want to say, I mean, it could be completely different in the books, but from seeing that scene, it seems like the brothers liked Belly at the same time. They liked her. They started to like her when she came last summer. And I know some people were telling me that Jeremiah liked Belly before Conrad, and it could be completely different in the book, so I'm going off of the show. But it seems like the two brothers ended up liking Belly at the same time, which was last summer. And then flash forward to Truth or Dare, and it gets depressing again.
What's your biggest regret?
I'd probably say not spending enough time with my sister before she died.
But honestly, it was needed. Cameron talks about how he regrets not spending enough time with his sister before she passed away. And they talk about grief and how it gets easier. And I think, you know, they all needed to hear that because of Susanna's recent passing. So Belly and Jeremiah don't end up kissing in the Truth or Dare, which, okay, I didn't expect them to kiss then. Later on, Belly goes up to confronts Jeremiah and she's like, do I smell bad or something? Like, you don't want to go back to watch the movie with me. You didn't want to kiss me during Truth or Dare. Like, what's going on? And honestly, like, are you serious, Belly? Like, is she actually serious? First of all, she wanted him to kiss her in front of her ex, which is also Jeremiah's brother. That would have been such a weird and awkward thing to do. Like, but then Jeremiah ends up saying,
Because if I kiss you, I don't know that I can ever stop.
yeah, so I kind of feel like that solidifies like their feelings for each other. Like, they're both acknowledging that they want to be with each other. Then we end up getting a flashback to Belly's prom, but this is again from Jeremiah's point of view, and he's at home with Susanna, and Susanna is FaceTiming, you know, to see Belly's dress in prom, and he overhears that Conrad forgot Belly's corsage. And honestly, I'm giving Conrad the benefit of the doubt because, like I said, there's a lot going on. He's not spending this time with his mother, and she is passing away. A lot's on his mind, you know? So forgetting the corsage is something that I can forgive.
If it had been me, I would have done it right. I wouldn't have forgotten the corsage. I'd have given her the perfect night.
But Jeremiah is like, yeah, I would have made it the perfect night for Belly. I would have never forgot her corsage, and good on him. But like I said, I understand why Conrad's mind was somewhere else. And then Susanna and Jeremiah end up talking, and they talk about how Jeremiah still has feelings for Belly, and how everybody expects him to be okay and for him to be happy all the time. And I do feel like that's true. Like I said, in season 1, he was just so chipper and so emotionless to me that I don't know, I just was not vibing with him. And I like that he has, he has feelings this season, and we're getting to see his side more. Susanna ends up saying to Jeremiah that this is just the beginning of his story, so I feel like that's foreshadowing that Jeremiah may end up with Belly. That's what it feels like. Like, this is gonna be, we had Conrad's story, and now we're getting Jeremiah's story. Jeremiah also says that
My dad always loved Conrad better.
Love you too.
But I had my mom, her, and Belly.
Conrad and his father loved Conrad more, and that, he had his mother and he had Belly. Those were the two people that really understand him. And I honestly feel really bad for him because at one point he had neither of them. And I couldn't imagine the headspace he was in that moment where he really felt like he was alone and had no one. Also, why am I not mad at this?
My whole life, it's always been Conrad for Belly. But maybe for the rest of the story, it could be me.
Why am I not mad at this? I'm so Team Conrad, though. I am Team Conrad until I die. I'm so sorry. So they head back to the summer house, and Aunt Julia tells them that the house is basically being sold, that she got an offer and that she's gonna take it, and it's a done deal. And that's how we end the episode. Another depressing episode. So yeah. Like I said, I originally wasn't going to upload anything because I made the mistake of filming it incorrectly. And I was just gonna skip to episode 6. But like I said, I felt like this episode put a lot into perspective for me as someone who was Team Conrad and as someone who could not stand Jeremiah. But as I've watched season 2 and we got to see and learn more about Jeremiah, I've come to understand and like him more. Yeah, I'm still because people were telling me that Jeremiah has always liked Belly before Conrad, but from that one scene, it doesn't seem like that's right. And a lot of people, I think they give Conrad heat because Belly has had a crush on him basically her whole life, and he's never done anything about her, or he's never acknowledged her, or he didn't feel the same way as her. But it seemed like the two brothers both never really thought anything romantically about Belly until last summer. Also, I want to say again that Belly, she's so weird for that. She's so weird for wanting to kiss Jeremiah in front of Conrad. For being upset that he didn't want to kiss her in that moment. It was not the time or place for that. So yeah, like I said, I'm also not mad at Steven and Taylor being together. I'm starting to like them more. but she's still with Milo, so that's like a bit like, you know? And also I think a lot of people talk about being with like Belly morally and her being with one brother and then ending up being with the other brother. But then there's also like shows where that happen all the time. I feel like there's like a point of like morality where it's just a TV show, so it's not that big of a deal. Cause like also if you think about like the Vampire Diaries where Elena is with Stefan and then she ends up with Damon, I don't think a lot of people were upset that she was with Stefan at one point and then ended up with his brother. That's all I have really for season 2, episode 6. Season 2, episode 5 of The Summer I Turned Pretty. Like I said, this is completely different of how I normally do reaction videos. I usually just watch it the first time and then kind of give my opinion after. So let me know if you like this type of content. Maybe I'll do more things where I kind of just do a recap and then discuss the things that are going on. I hope you liked it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, tell me what you think.